So to change the screens on the Clipper, we're going to come to the driver's side of the trailer. We're going to start by unscrewing these two knobs here to access the screens. You can see we've got our other screens here, so we're going to take our new screens from here if we want to change them and place them in here, and these ones will go back in. So once I have the two knobs off securing this screen door, we've got this our two screens here. We can see the top screen and the bottom screen. Now each screen has an end plate that is clearly labeled for top and bottom and designating which side is out. So we're going to remove each of these. Place those below, and then our screens just slide out. These ones are a little tight because we've got some seed in here, but as we're going to go through and clean at the same time, we're just going to take it all out at once. As you remove the screens, it's important to note the orientation of the overlap that exists on each of the screens. So in the top screen, the overlap is on the outside, and on the bottom screen, the overlap is on the inside. The screens won't actually fit in that way, any other way, so if you are having trouble with the screen, that might be the reason why. So this one's going to come out. Because we're also thinking about other people using the machine, as screens come out, we want to make sure we give them a good wipe to get all the debris off. And we have multiple screens and claws within the trailer here to do that. There's two things we're thinking about while doing this process. One is making sure we're not contaminating one batch of seeds with the other, and the other is keeping things clean so we're avoiding any disease transfer between seed crops as well. Periodically we will go through and bleach the machine and the different components. So I'll finish this up later. Place that screen to the side. And I'll pull up my bottom screen here. Our bottom screen is usually the finer mesh, so we'll find seed gets stuck in there a little more easily. So it'll take a little more time to clean these. Once again, we can just use our brush to go through there, and our hands as well. So I want to make sure this screen is nice and clean before I put it away, and I will come back to that later as well. So at this point I can put any two screens back in there. In our case we'll put these two screens back in, but while we have things taken apart we're going to take a look at how we clean the Clipper as well. So once the screens are out, you'll notice there's these other plates here which have a series of rubber balls in them. So this is just part of the design that helps distribute the air as part of the process as a little bit of the air blows up into the seed here. So these can also be removed. And a thing to remember is that for each section here, there's 5 rubber balls. That way if you accidentally drop this on the ground or one gets loose, you know how to redistribute them. And they will bounce around between the two different compartments in each section quite readily. So we're going to take this bottom one out, as well as the top one. So with these out, we can see we have a very, very good look at the inside of the Clipper here. And I can get in here with a vacuum, a brush, or my hand, and easily sweep everything away. So we're going to get up into the edges and get into the bottoms here and make sure we get all the debris cleaned out here so this machine is ready for the next seed crop. For the top screen, there is another plate in the back. We're just going to take that out as well. So what we're trying to do is get everything out of the way to make cleaning as easy as possible. We can now get in here with a vacuum, the compressor if there's anything stuck in there, a cloth, or a little broom to get things totally cleaned out. During the cleaning process, we're always working from the top down. So at this point, we'll have already cleaned our hopper, and this is going to be the next stage. So anything we move downwards is going to be easy to clean out when we're working down below. As we talked about previously, we can get underneath here as well as we knock seeds down, and we can vacuum anything that gets stuck in behind here to make sure we're getting rid of all the debris before we put another seed crop in here. So with our screens out and our hopper cleaned already, we can now proceed to clean this section here. We're going to use our vacuum, the air compressor, and I've got a broom and a cloth here to just help sweep things out. So I'm going to start with a vacuum, try to get as much material out as I can. I'll use the compressor to get stuff that might be stuck in little spots. Then we can move into just doing a sweep with the broom or the cloth. And then we'll give this stuff here a wipe and then start sticking it back in so it's ready to use. Probably something we'll just do in fast motion, I think. Slow down for this portion. Let the compressor die down and then I'll do a bit more dialogue here.
Okay.
I'll just keep doing this until it's ready. So now we've got things fairly clean in here, and what you may not have noticed in the video is you may think you have it clean, and the compressor's really good at getting into those little spots to get little debris out of there. So it's why we like to use a combination of strategies for cleaning. Now we're going to work on putting the ball trays back in, and then the screens and the screen ends. So before the ball trays go back in, I'm going to use I'm going to give these a quick brush, and then I'm also going to use the compressor on here just to get any debris that's stuck in here out before we stick it back into the machine. So when putting the ball screens back in, we'll notice there's slats here. So the ball screens rest on the bottom of the slat, and the screen is going to fit in just above that into that other space. So that's going to be the same for both the top and the bottom. Before putting in the top one, I need to put our screen backing there. Goes in. So that slides right to the back. Now we can put our ball tray in after that. That goes right up against there. Now we're all ready to put our screens in. I'm going to give it one more blow with the air compressor here to get any debris that might have fallen out during that process. So you may notice I'm stopping and using the compressor multiple times. One of the reasons for that is really making sure we've got a clean machine. Number one, I want to make sure if I'm cleaning different types of seed, I'm not contaminating it with the previous lot. And I particularly want to make sure I'm leaving the machine in good shape for the next person who uses it as well. With our bulk trays back in, we can now start to put our screens back in. I'm going to put an 18 round on the top here. And once again, it's the top screen, so my overlap on my screen is going to be outwards. The screens do sometimes catch on the balls, and you can just roll them over. Now, as the screen gets in, you remember we put in our end piece there. The screen needs to tuck under the end piece. So I'm just going to lift that up a little bit with my nail to slide that under very easily there. And then we've got our piece on this end as well. It's labeled top and this side out, so it's really easy to differentiate. So when this piece goes in, it's sliding underneath this overhang, and it's flush with the sides there. So I know this is in correctly on both ends, and that top screen is ready to go. My bottom screen I'm putting in a 12 round. My overhang is on this end, and it goes in on this side. There's nothing catching on the other side, so it's ready to go. We've got our labeled end here for the bottom. This, when it goes in, goes above the screen. And you know that's in properly as well when it's flush with the sides. So as a review, I've got my top screen in with the end flush to the sides, bottom screen in with the end flush to the sides, and we're now ready to close this up and start cleaning seed again. We close that up, you can see it closes nice and flush, and then we're going to use our knobs here again to close that up and be ready to go. So now we're going to come and clean this part of the clipper. So even though this is generally behind a screen, which is here, we want to get in behind here again. We're really concerned about contamination of our own and other crops. So we want to get in here and vacuum as much stuff out as we can. We'll use the air compressor to get stuff out of the little nooks and crannies. And then we're going to get up under here as well, because there's a little section under there where things tend to sit, and we want to get it cleaned out as good as we can. Okay, so with most of the front part cleaned here, I'm now going to come up underneath, and that's going to catch the stuff in the trough that is all the small debris that's fallen through our lower screen. So one of the reasons I really like the compressor is because it can get into areas that you can't even see, and what it does is blows that debris out into the open so you can get in there with the vacuum. So having gone through there multiple times, like I said, there's very little dust in here, but I've been able to vacuum all the debris out, get right in behind there with the compressor. I could see little bits of pieces of things here and there that I was managed to get in there and blow out. So this machine is now looking really good for the next use. The last place to clean is just our small seed and chaff chute on the other side of the unit there. The seed and the chaff come out during the cleaning process. And so generally we just want to sweep things up here to keep them clean. More if we happen to spill our own seed down here, we want to make sure that it doesn't mix up with other seed and become unusable. I'm also going to get under here and just like give things a little wipe on these discharge areas. Once again, with dust and debris, just trying to reduce the likelihood of any transfer of disease or any seed that might even be just stuck up in there. They're generally very smooth surfaces, but once again, just really trying to avoid contaminating one lot of seed with another. So for our side shoot here, most of the debris naturally comes out. We're going to give it a quick vacuum in here and get in there with a bit with the compressor. When we were working on the screen side and reaching around the blower fan, I can see there's still tiny little bits of stuff in there, but I can blow that out easily from here. And once I'm done this, I will do another walk around just to make sure there's nothing that's got blown up and around. We'll go through with the compressor a few more times and we'll be pretty clean. So the whole process here takes about 15 to 30 minutes, depending how efficient you are.